Hi, and welcome to a short video series on how I created the utility AI system. If you're watching this, you've probably purchased the package or interested in using the package in future. The first part I want to just go through is the setup and to get everything up and running. So to start, in this example, I will create a third-person project. The total solution is a 100% blueprint solution, and I made it this way just to make it easier if you wanted to make changes or you're not so familiar with the C++ side of things. So to start, let's create a new project. Utility AI, and let's create it. And through the miracle of video editing, I will be right back. Great, so now that it is loaded, we're presented with this standard out of the box. If we press play here, we can view and make sure that everything is working as it should. So now the next step in the process is to actually install the Utility AI plugin. This is done through the Epic Marketplace, where you'll have an option. It'll either come as an additional content folder with everything or an engine plugin. At the time of me making this, the store app is not published yet. However, it is going to be published, and through the miracle of editing, I'm just going to quickly install it, and I will be right back. Okay, so in the last video I left, we have to install the AI plugin, and here we have it installed. So in my case, it's come in as a plugin for the utility AI system. Manage and define what NPCs do using the utility AI system. So let's get into what is inside this package. And if we have a look here under plugins, you see utility AI system content. Important to note is that there is no C++ code or anything, and everything is written purely in blueprints if you wanted to make any further changes. Before we actually get started with what is the utility AI and some considerations and actions that need to be performed, we actually need to get our level set up in a way that can support NPCs and how the NPCs can actually move around. And to do this, what we first need to do is actually add a navigation volume to the map. So to do that, I'm just going to go in here and search for navigation mesh bounds volume. Looks good. And we can press P on our keyboard to show the bounds volume. And here I just want to make it a little bit larger so that it encompasses the entire map. So it's 3000, 3000, maybe bring it across, yeah, and a little bit more on the ways. So basically what this is just a navigation component, so the NPCs can actually run around. It is vital for the utility AI system that when it tells an NPC, okay, you need to do X, then you need to go to X and perform your action at that location. Cool. Once we are now finished with that, we are then in a position to start setting up our AI controller. So to set up an AI controller, the first thing we can do is let's go to the content folder, and here I'm just going to create a new folder for, my AI content, and inside this folder we're just going to put everything we use for creating this utility AI system. In your own projects you could put it wherever you like, but for this example we're just going to put it in here. So the first thing we need to do is actually create an AI controller, and an AI controller is very similar to a player controller, except that it is controlled by uh, the computer itself. And here I'm just going to call blueprint, create a new blueprint, and let's look for AI controller. So in the example, I have a example utility AI controller that I created here. We're going to create one from scratch, and what we're going to do is basically do exactly the same as this, but for example, for tutorial, let's create one from scratch. So call it BP my AI controller, and let's open that up. And I bring it to this monitor here. So to create an AI controller is very straightforward. The only thing that is needed from the utility AI system is just to run the utility AI brain, and the utility AI brain is actually a behavior tree, and all we want to do is just run that behavior tree. So what we're going to do is from the begin play event, let's pull out a line here and let's say run behavior tree. Select that, and the BT asset, so the behavior tree should be, let's say, show plugin content, and here you should see a BT utility AI behavior tree. Once selecting that, we can then click on compile and save, and that is basically all that is needed for the controller side of things. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is let's actually create our first NPC character, and what I'm going to do is just cheat a little bit and use the content that came with the third person, so this project. And what we can find here under third person, we've got some blueprints, and here we have a blueprint for the third person character, which is when we press play, so I want to just basically use all the work that's been done already in here, and I want to complement it with my utility AI components. So to do that, I'm just going to right click this third person character, and I'm going to create a child blueprint of it, and let's name it, my NPC character. And once we've done that, we can actually then click and drag it into our my AI content, and we can just move this in here. And once we've done that, then we've taken everything we need from this third person folder. So what do we have here? So we have a my NPC character. If I now go and open this up, then that takes us into this. It's exactly the same setup, but what we want to do on this particular character, we can then actually go to AI, and on the pawn section here, auto possess AI, so we want to possess it when we're placed in the world. And here you see an AI controller class, and here we can then specify the my AI controller that we just created. Now, once that is actually done, um, of course, we can drag the AI, this NPC character, into the level, but it won't be able to do anything just yet. And first, we need to define what actions the NPC character can perform, and I will show you how to do that in the next section. Okay, so what we need to do is first we need to define what our NPC character is going to do for this example. So what I did is put together a short spreadsheet. Um, Goes over my NPC actions, what information I need to keep about this NPC. So here I have some health and I have some actions. So what possible actions could our NPC here do? So it wants to follow the player or it needs to replenish health. And these obviously have some considerations that we need to consider in the process of is the player nearby? And if the player is nearby, we want to follow the player. And is my health low? So the first thing that we need to do is let's set up some context here for our NPC character to be able to at least monitor the health and then position us correctly so that we can have place in our actions and considerations. So let's do that. And the first thing we need to do is if we have a look into the Utility AI system on the plugin, you see there are three main components. And the first one that we need to have a look into is this utility actions component. Each of these three components are, in coding terms, as abstract components, which means that you need to effectively create a child of each of these components. So let's start with the first one of the utility actions. And here I'm going to go back to my AI content folder, and here I'm going to create a new blueprint. And under the blueprint, I'm going to type in AC Utility AI, and here we have Utility AI Utility Actions, and this is the component that we want to create a blueprint for. So here we go, select, and we can call this AC my NPC actions. Yeah. And once we create this, we're then able to open this component. And like with our example here, we have, let's just show it quickly. So we have, this is the component we just created, and we need a mechanism to specify health. Now, obviously, for the purpose of the tutorial, I'm going to create it here. You might actually have different systems in place which are on your character itself, which manage health. But for the purposes of this demo, we will just create it here. So current health. And let's create this as an integer, for example. And we will then compile this and save this component. And we will come back to this component if we have a look at the settings for this NPC. You see here we have some available actions, and this array is empty. We will get back to creating the different actions and that. But as a first step, let's go and actually add this component to our NPC character. And after that has been done, we can then officially add the NPC to a level. So let's do that quickly. Let's open up our NPC character, and we open it up as a full blueprint. And here we can then add a component, AC my NPC actions, and we can add this NPC actions to it. And that is all that is needed in terms of the NPC actions that need to go onto our NPC character and completed. Once that is done, we can now actually take our NPC and actually drag it into the level. We can then say we face this guy here, and if we press play, we can now see our NPC is here. However, it doesn't have any actions to perform, so it is just standing here idling. And in the next section, let's actually go and actually create some actions and some considerations and see how this works for the AI system.